Welcome to the October the 2nd OpenJ9 community call. As usual, we'll open it up for any community-based questions. In terms of lightning talks, I've reached out to Hung about lightning talk for the shared classes cache layers. And he and Marius, I believe, are working on preparing a talk that'll either be given on the OpenJ9 community call or done as part of the OMR compiler architecture meeting. So we'll make sure that we get that up and made available. They're also working on some blogs around both this feature and the default shared classes cache. So there will be more information available in the near future. In terms of updates from Code 1, I could give a very brief overview of that. The feel of Code 1 was a bit down this year compared to other years. A little, I think for attendees, it was still a good conference, especially if you hadn't been to previous Code 1s or Java 1s. But the overall impression was a little bit more of a tacked on to the side of Oracle's open world. Still a lot of very interesting talks. The messaging was very much around the 6-month release cadence seems to be working for people that they are. The keynote talked about, had some people up who had been skeptical about the release cadence and were now able to talk about that and how their skepticism was not borne out, that the release cadence seems to be working for delivering value. They highlighted some of the language changes and VM changes that have gone in. It might be interesting for us to do a similar retrospective for the OpenJ9 if we take a look at changes between when we were released and now, especially those that affect Java 8, the functionality we've been able to bring to everyone would be a good lightning talk or even a good blog post. And overall, a lot of interest in static compilation for Java, places where that go beyond what we can do today with our classic IoT. All right, I'll have to see if we can get Mark to give an update on JVMLS and the Java Dev Day Mexico conference he was just at next time. All right, let's take a look at the end user issues. And there's nothing new in the last week, or nothing still open from the last week, so that's a good place to be. We have a couple of these that need to be looked at further and need to be tagged against releases. In particular, that top one we should get tagged against the 0.18 release. Take a second to do.
It's not clear that's actually an OpenJ9 problem because it's a crash in an Eclipse DLL.
I agree, but I'd like to make sure it doesn't fall off the list. So tagging it against the milestone, make sure that we're tracking it a little more actively. Andrew, I know I was very late making this enabled and sharing the link. Have you had a chance to update the download?
I'm just doing it at this very second. GitHub is being really slow at the moment for some reason, so it's taking longer than I was hoping, but it'll be there in literally a minute or two.
All right, so we'll circle back if you can let us know when you've been able to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to delete some of these older numbers, given that we're tracking using the graphs now. And we've followed up on that. We're only able to get project level status for the official Docker images, so I will remove that as well. All right, in terms of releases, the notarization work for Mac on JDK 12 and 13. Has that been resolved?
So I've done some investigation with Stuart last week and also at the moment. And so the work George Adams did sort of, I think, got a lot of the way there to resolving it. However, basically what it involved doing was signing all the libraries in the JMods and the package to make it support a gatekeeper hardened runtime. And the way George did that was basically on the Mac during the signing script is to unzip the JMods, sign each of the libraries, and then zip it up again, which works for most things. But one thing that it misses is the fact that Java base has hashes for all the dependent modules. And of course, the hashes have all changed, and zipping won't actually hash the modules correctly. So I'm currently trying to augment a little fix to that to use Jmod to rehash the modules after signing. Having a slight problem at the moment because it seems there's actually a Jmod bug with hash modules, which is a bit unfortunate, which I'm trying to work around or find a workaround for. But I'm hopeful if I can work around that, it will at least progress us past the current last issue, which was the fact that JLink doesn't work, basically, with the notarized binary. So basically, it's if I can get the hashes fixed, see if that then resolves the issue.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
In terms of the 0.16 release, AIX continues to be disabled for both 0.16 and 0.17. There are a couple of issues tracking that. I know Gita's been working away trying to get some of those resolved. Gita, do you want to provide an update here?
Yeah, maybe useful comments like it's not about which compiler it is built with. It's more like something is make files. So next step. So basically, even with XLC 13, the same issue happens. So I'm gonna play with some object files, maybe sort of mixing sort of do like some binary search on object files next.
Okay. All right. So in terms of 17 then, I'm not sure where the OMR release is now. I know they had been looking at doing that separately, and I believe it was supposed to go out early October. I know we have October 4th written here, but I'm not sure where they had gotten to at that date. So we'll need to follow up the OMR project, though it's not clear to me that OpenJ9 will be consuming that release. There are still some issues in the milestone plan, so let's take a look at that as we try to ramp things down. We have a shared classes timeout on Windows that's being tracked against the JIT. Pete, do you have the current status on this?
There's definitely way slower to generate some code. I'm not sure whether it only affects this. The test is running with AOT count equals 1, so I'm not sure if it's something that only affects this test or if it has side effects on other things as well.
Okay. Do we have an outlook on whether we believe this needs to be a stop ship?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if there's anybody who's on the call. Is anybody could tell us?
We don't have the appropriate
No.
JIT developers. So. The next one is also tagged against the JIT. The 160.
Gita was running PR testing, so I think that one's going to be ready. So there was a question of if it's low enough risk that we could put it in the 017 release.
This is the FPRs need to be preserved?
Yeah.
Yes. We feel that it's pretty safe. And it's functional problem, sort of long-standing, but a pretty severe functional problem, I think.
Okay, well, once it's ready to be merged, if somebody can create the PR against the 017 release, we'll make sure all the existing testing passes, and as long as everything looks good, then we'll put it in 17.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right. We have a test failure here with an NPE.
Yeah, since nobody's started looking at that, I think we'll just move it out. It's been happening for quite some time. It's not a regression since the last release or anything.
Okay, I will move that out right here. Out as this is not. Okay, the unsafe constructor needs to be made private. That should be merged today. I've just been waiting on the PR testing to complete on master. It's a fairly straightforward and obvious fix. So I have no concerns with that. The can access test.
That's just the test
I
for the
believe
PR.
Yes, thank you. The null check on the Indy resolution, I believe I launched PR testing on that last night. No, sorry, there was some changes to the test case that comes along with this, just to make it a little clearer to read. But overall, I think the fix is the right fix now. And we'll get that delivered hopefully today or tomorrow. And then the OpenJ9 modules have no Java doc.
So I've got a fix, expect it to be merged today, so we should be able to get it into 017 today as well.
Okay, that's great. I guess the next piece of that is to get the Java doc hosted somewhere. Is there a follow-on item?
Simon's got a PR that he just opened about the Java 11 Java doc. I haven't reviewed it yet, and I don't know if we've decided how to host it.
Yeah, I would be happy to have it linked from the OpenJ9 docs website. Seems like a reasonable place to have it.
Yeah, it
So
makes sense.
The way the JDK 11 Java doc works is the whole SDK is generated with a single Java doc command to get all the indexing correct. So just having a bit that's only got the OpenJ9 bits is something we need to look into, because it's definitely designed to have it all as a composite unit.
Can't we just publish it all?
Yeah, it can for me, but it would be, what you'd be publishing would be not just the OpenJDK, not just the OpenJ9 modules, it would be the whole adopt JDK, which, as I say, works for me, but I didn't know that that's what you had in mind.
As long as there's no legal issues, I guess we'd have to look into that kind of thing. I don't know if there might be any complications in hosting the doc at our existing site.
Yeah, if it was just the OpenJ9 piece, I think it would be a straightforward call. If it's everything, we'll need to do some investigation. Is there an issue tracking, where we need to host this that we can use as an anchor for the conversation?
I will check.
Okay. All right. Jumping back to our release plan. We are rapidly coming up on our milestone 2 date of October 10th. So the more of these issues we can get resolved and merged into the 017 branch this week, the better. So we're still targeting that GA date of October 18th. And then coming up in January, which we'll need to fill out the dates for, we have the 018 release. And need to start thinking about Java 14 and monitoring the JEPs that'll be going into that. All right, so that's our releases. Shelley, do you want to give an update on the adopt work?
Again, I don't think there's much here. Andrew's already mentioned what he's doing to try to get the notarization on Mac done. We've shifted our technical steering committee meeting to Thursday this week because we've missed the last two because people don't have Fridays available. In terms of things that the project that I'm looking forward to, we are getting AIX machines added to the project, which will help in terms of our flow and our ability to release in a more timely manner. That was kind of a bottleneck for us in previous releases. But other than that, I don't think there's anything notable. There's items like Java Mission Control web page being added and these things, but I don't think it's relevant to this call.
Okay. Is there a particular sponsor we should be thanking for the new PPC machines?
It will be IBM. It'll be the particular sponsor.
Wasn't sure of that. For the next item there, we have the making it easier to assign contributors to work items. I haven't seen anything new there. I'm not sure how pressing this is now that anyone who comments can be assigned to an issue. We may not really need the rest of the contributor team piece that that Eclipse has been working on for us. So if anyone has any feedback on whether they still see benefit in Eclipse finishing that feature, please let us know. All right, in terms of a machine update, I don't see either Adam or Joe, and I was very late getting the document put up, so I'm not sure there's any update here versus last week. All right, I don't see Sue on the call, so we'll skip over the website update and move to any other business. Is there anything here people would like to discuss?
I just created a simple issue at the docs repo for the Java doc.
Okay.
383.
Is there anything else anyone would like to discuss? All right. Thank you, everyone, and we'll meet again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.